Hi, I'm Dee Dee Spindin, and along with my co-host Annette of Mischievous Snow Guardians, who is working the magic behind the scene, and Jenna of Jenna P 2005, I would like to welcome you to the 25th Aquarium Hall giveaway hosted by the Fishfam.link YouTube channel. Now, this series of live streams has been created to provide an opportunity for the community to spotlight their aquarium based businesses or for others to spotlight an aquarium based business of their choosing. Now, if you're new to this channel, share how this aquarium ball giveaway works. A business or individual contacts us at hello@fishfam.link. And once a sponsorship has been determined, either the sponsor or a special shopper will go on the website and select items, place them in a cart, and sometime during a live stream, someone in the chat will win what's in that cart. Now, based on where you live, there may be some restrictions that apply, and you must be 18 to enter. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer so she can introduce our guest tonight.
Okay, so our giveaway tonight is sponsored by Bulk Reef Supply, and our guest shopper is Ian from Atkins Nature Aquariums. Ian, you haven't done any streams in a while. Would you like to introduce yourself to people who may not know who you are?
Hey guys, I'm Ian from Atkins Nature Aquariums, and I do saltwater and freshwater as my hobby. Been doing it since 2019, and yeah, I mostly specialize in sumps and some high-tech stuff. I've done a lot of planted tanks, high-tech planted tanks with CO2. Done a lot of breeding with cichlids and plecos, live bearers. And right now I've downsized a lot to I've just had a few tanks right now, but still have a lot of love for the hobby, and there's a lot that I would love to show you guys.
So, how many tanks do you currently have?
I have 5 tanks right now. I have 2 freshwater tanks, a 75 on a 40-gallon sump, and that's a South American blackwater tank with my cichlids, festivums, blue acara, and there's a blue phantom pleco, a Bisher in there, which is not South American, but it's a good home for him, and he seems to enjoy it in there. And then I've got this 40 breeder, which is a planted tank with an angelfish and some plecos. And I've got a 40-gallon saltwater tank plumbed into a 15-gallon sump with a 20 long plumbed into that sump as well, running on a UV sterilizer and a hydros aquarium controller system. And then I have a 10-gallon aquarium for salt upstairs, just chilling in the living room. And it's running on a hang-on back filter for about 4.5, coming up to 4.5 years now.
So, I know you mentioned you have sumps. Do you make use of your sumps for like extra plants or anything, or is it just as the filter?
They're mainly just the filter. I like keeping them dark because having a light down there causes more algae to grow, and that's more maintenance you have to do. So I keep them dark and easy to maintain.
And did you drill all of your tanks?
I drilled one of them. The other ones I've
Mhm.
got pre-drilled, so that's the easiest way to get a sump.
Yes,
We
I've
don't have
done both.
any sumps. Do you have sumps, Dee Dee?
I do not have any longer, but I had to get an overflow box because I was afraid to try because I only had the one tank, so it's like I can't afford to break it. So I bought the overflow box and the aqua lifter, and I went that route. But if I had to do it again, it would be pre-purchased, already drilled.
Okay. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen so we can pull up Bulk Reef Supply. Is here.
Oh, one of my favorite places to buy stuff
Oh, I
Yeah.
love this place. I've spent a lot of money here.
too.
So, one thing about Bulk Reef Supply is I believe last year they launched their fresh section as well. I know some of their stuff for saltwater was applicable to both, but they made like a whole separate section, so you don't just have to keep saltwater to use Bulk Reef Supply. But if you were putting something in your cart, what would you want to look at first, Ian?
Well, it depends on what I'm really going on there for. I've bought lights and pumps from them. I really do like their RODI units. I have a 4-stage RODI unit from them that's really nice, high quality. I've dropped it pretty hard on the ground and it's held up. So they're really sturdy.
I can attest to that. I've dropped mine as well.
I've broken like the little knobs and stuff, like the connectors, but those are really easy to replace. And
So like a 4-stage RODI unit. And I know we have an RO unit. We have no saltwater tanks, but we use our RO to help lower our KH and to help with planet tanks. Do you use it for, well, I don't know what your water chemistry is. You do have saltwater tanks and you need RO for those. Do you use it for any freshwater as well?
I'll top off with RO water since it's handy. But my water out of the tap is really low TDS. Like right now, it's 30 TDS out of the tap. So I don't even need RO water. I've gone 2 years without using RO water for salt water, but not everyone can do that. I wanted to see what I could push with my saltwater systems. So that's why I chose to do RO.
And so Coro had a question, opinions on the new AI light, which I'm guessing is Aqua Illumination.
Yeah, Aqua Illumination last year they came out. It was either last year or the year before. They came out with the blade, and I have the I have the 21-inch blade grow. It's a good light. You can use it on freshwater or saltwater. It's mainly towards saltwater, but you can tune it to where it looks just like a freshwater light as well.
So if it's geared towards saltwater, does that mean it has a lot of, like, it trends blue?
It does trend blue, but it also has white LEDs that balance it out.
And you have it on a saltwater tank?
Yeah.
I just like Nancy's comment because Scotty said he was on double time. We just start pretend they're all drunk. Also missed the giveaway. They have the new Hydra Edge 2. Let's see what that one is.
I don't think I've seen those.
So it's supposed to eliminate hot spots in your lighting.
That looks like this one.
Yeah. I have not seen those. Oh, but I see how the old Hydras used to have just like one central puck of LEDs, but you can see how these are spread out with different clusters of LEDs. So yeah, I can see how those will give a more blanket lighting instead of just one beam coming down like the old ones were.
So I wonder if they have any of the old ones still available. Let's see.
Yep, the Hydra 64s, those were the last model. And you can see how that central puck, it's all those LEDs. And so they would kind of just beam down light very strong.
It's also, these are all over $700, and this one is about almost half the price.
Yeah. But it's also, they also have one that is 700, and they have different sizes. Like they have a 2 puck of the Hydra, which I think they call the 32. So it's probably uh, that size. And they are a more high end light, but they do last a long time. LEDs can last like 10 years. And I know people that are still running the first generation AI hydras and growing coral with them.
Yeah. Is aqua illumination like your preferred lighting if you were to pick a salt light? I mean, I know a lot of people like Kessel, but they also can price a lot of people out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Kessels, mainly because it is a point source light and um, they are a bit higher end. But I started out with the Prime 16 right there, first ones that are on sale right now,
Mhm.
and those are a great light. I've started with that on a 40-gallon cube, and it grew good coral. The easy coral like LPS and some easier SPS like stylos and birds nests.
Hmm.
Now, which one? You said the ones that just shine, like the punks, they just shine down. Is that maybe for like highlighting certain areas?
Yeah, so that's what
Okay.
I'm using mine for right now. It would highlight, since I have that blade, it kind of gives that blanket look across the tank, and I have a prime giving uh, more highlight to the SPS corals that need that more light.
So some corals need, like, we have no salts. Some corals need more lights, just like some plants need higher light.
Yeah, yeah. And the way you can test how your lights are doing is normally with a par meter, but they're really expensive. You can sometimes ask your fish store to rent it if they're in a club, but you also don't need to use a par meter. I've never had to use one. I just start my lights out low since they are controllable, and the corals and the macroalgae will tell you what they need.
So they
And
also have par meters here.
yeah, they do also sell par meters, and they do have a return, so you could like buy one and then return it, since you don't need to use a par meter that much. But really, it's like the 10% that use par meters.
Now, you've
You can
always
use,
been like a scientist testing person ever since we've known you. You've gone above and beyond the norm of what most of us will go, even at a young age.
Yeah, yeah, I try to, but I still have my limits on what I can spend. And 600, $400 for a par meter is not something I really want to do when I can test the lights visually and learn from experience what the corals like and what they don't like. And
yeah.
they won't just like croak and die out in one day. They'll tell you, and you'll have plenty of time to react what they need. And that also goes into knowing what corals you have. So it kind of forces you into learning about your animals and what they need.
And like Anthony said, kind of reiterating, a par meter is a good thing to buy with your local club and share it.
Yeah, that is true. And sometimes, if you are in a saltwater club, even some freshwater clubs I've seen have
Mhm.
them, um, just ask and be like, hey, does anyone have a par meter that they're renting? Like, I know in our area, we have the PNW Moss Club, and there's a whole forum subsection just for renting out par meters.
And yeah, like you said, even some freshwater. I know we've Alan Bauer sent Steven a par meter to borrow, and he used it to measure the different lightings that he has on tanks to see, because there are certain plants that need a certain amount of light to do well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like it's hard to tell
Yeah, our eyes can't
between the
tell.
lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you happen to be president of a club, Scotty, cough, cough, this might be something that would be great to consider buying for the club.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, and as club members could actually get a benefit without being there.
What else would you want to look at on bulk reef supply? What are some things maybe you've gotten in the past or are interested in looking at?
Yeah, so I've gotten my hydros from them, but unfortunately now they've discontinued selling hydros, and it's just kind of a bummer to me. I just have to go somewhere else, but that's okay. They do sell a comparable controller called the Neptune Apex Neptune system. It's a little bit different, but it does the same thing as a hydros.
Let's see. Is it this one
Yeah, so
or
that's the
this
junior,
one?
and then they have the A3 Apex Pro, and then they also have, if you scroll down, um, the normal A3 Apex system. It's not the Pro, but it still does pretty much the same thing. And so this is pretty much an aquarium Wi-Fi controller that you can control everything for your aquarium on your phone. And it's really popular in the saltwater systems that are very complicated. Like they're using different pumps to feed different UV sterilizers to different systems and different lights to feed different tanks, auto feeders, sump systems. It's really crazy the in-depth controllability you can do with those, and they are nice. Like, and you can use them on freshwater too.
So is this like if you had a bunch of Casa Wi-Fi timers, but all consolidated into one thing?
Mm-hmm. But you can control like very cool things. Like on there, there's a that black rectangle on the bottom next to the probe. That's a
This
leak detector. So that leak detector, when it goes off, it'll send a signal to your phone if you're not there to catch it. And then also that little black square is a water level detector. So if like a leak is going on and that doesn't happen to catch it, it'll catch the level of the sump going down. And if it goes past that level, it'll send a notification to your phone. And then
so
you've
what
also go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, what if you are like across town and this is telling you that you have a leak? Can you then shut some things
Mm-hmm.
off for your
Yes.
phone? Oh,
Yeah. Then you can shut off a pump, and some people even have Wi-Fi cameras in their sumps in fish rooms and can see what's going on. And they've also got temperature sensors, so if like your inkbird doesn't catch and it sticks on,
mhm.
that temperature sensor will turn off the inkbird.
Nice.
And it also comes with a pH probe. The pH probe is nice in saltwater, especially for the SPS guys. We like to run our pHs a little higher, and we use different chemicals like Kalkwasser, which are really sensitive to the changes. So having that really helps with controlling how much the pH change, because you can control pumps off of the pH.
What
Wow.
is there a good pH that a saltwater tank should be? Or does it kind of vary based on what you're keeping?
I'd say around 8, 8.2, 8.0 to 8.3 is usually like good for all life in a saltwater tank. And I
So
keep
don't inject CO2 into your saltwater tank.
No, not unless you're doing I forget what it's called. Calcium reactors. Calcium reactors are injecting CO2 inside this container full of alkaline media like crushed coral, and they'll pump the CO2 to lower the pH in that chamber to melt the high alkaline solution and drip it into the tank.
So like they bring up
Cowwasser.
a regulator
Mm-hmm.
whenever you look up.
Yep. Calwasser. It's calcwasser, calcium hydroxide. It's a very nasty chemical. Don't use it with hands. Use gloves and a mask and goggles because the powder is not good for you. It has, at a base level, when you mix it up with water, it has a pH of 12.
And I see they have a lot of stuff on sale too. Like this CO2 Art dual stage CO2 regulator is on sale.
Yeah, that's a good price for you salt or freshwater guys that are into CO2. That's a good deal.
Let's see. Yeah. It might even
That
be
is a good deal.
cheaper than if you bought it directly from CO2 Art.
Mm-hmm.
I paid more than that for mine, for sure.
Coro is apparently drinking it. Tastes like battery acid and baking soda. Also apparently drinking battery acid to have a reference point.
True. But he does pedal that bike a lot, so he might be having some battery issue.
I can see you can even get the tank here. Someone was asking.
They call it lime. It should be refreshing. That's the point.
Yeah, it's also used as a pickling. Like it's called pickling lime, and so people that are like really on the cheap end, they'll just use straight up pickling lime as kalkwasser for saltwater tanks.
So what I'm seeing here on the site is that if you're not even considering saltwater, you can still get a lot of the things you might need if you're branching out on just regular tanks. If you're doing your CO2 and all kinds of stuff.
And they also sell a bunch of the nano tanks that are really good to start out with. If you just want to get started, like you can also just do a Petco or PetSmart tank to start out with. But if you want something that's a little nicer, they do sell some really nice nano tanks. They'll just slap on your desks. Some of them are pre-built sumps that are a little bit more high end, but they also just have like some good deals on like the Hello Reef Anemone Aquarium kit. That's a really good kit. It comes with an AI blade light. It comes with the filter and everything you need to get started. And it even has a like a tutorial system in their app that'll help you get started with the tank. Like it really has everything.
Yeah, it comes with rock. Is it live rock?
So that's carob seed life rock. It's not technically live rock, but it's not technically dead rock. They've put like a special dry bacteria in there that gets activated once it's wet, and it is really good rock. I do use it, and I do use their sand, and it comes with the heater, the pump, the tank, obviously, salt, a refractometer, which is very important for starting out.
Zombie rock.
Zombie rock.
Um, would this be acceptable for other fish outside of clownfish? I know it
Yeah,
was called like a clownfish kit.
yeah, totally. There's my favorite, the Watchman goby and pistol shrimp pair. There's also like a royal grama you could keep in there. You could probably do sexy shrimps. Sexy shrimps would be cool because you could have like a nice colony of them and just let them breed. And they like the little micro anemones, anemones. The clown goby. Yep.
Yeah. And I saw so this is probably an all-in-one kit, but they had a whole section that was labeled all-in-one aquariums. I imagine they have some larger ones too. This is a 53-gallon all-in-one.
Yeah, those ones don't really come with everything. Those are just the tank
Okay,
and maybe a light.
let's see. Yeah, I imagine this one for like $119 probably isn't nearly as much stuff. Looks like it has kind of the back sump like a fluval flex.
Hmm.
Have you gotten any tanks from Bulk Reef Supply?
I have not gotten tanks from them, but I have a tank that they sold that I got from um, Shanna when, yeah, and I think they got it from Bulk Reef Supply. But I have a water box. It's a 45-gallon.
Let's see.
To me, the cubes are very. If you're just going to have a small one, a cube saltwater tank is prettier than a like a
Hmm.
10-gallon to me. Just looks better to the eye to me.
Yeah.
Which I have just a plain Jane off the shelf 10-gallon.
And Anthony has gotten a 22-liter before. He said it came well packed. It's a cool size too. Yeah, I mean, I imagine they have to, if they're shipping tanks across the country, they have to be really great at packing because that's an expensive thing to ship and potentially have to resend out.
And Skinny Nona got a 15-inch cube.
Oh, from Bulk Reef Supply.
It sounds like it.
Nice.
Is there anything else you wanted to look at that they sell?
Their pumps are really good. They sell good power heads. I use the Neros, and I don't think they sell it anymore, but it's the Ice Cap gyre. Aqua Illumination makes a gyre pump now, but that's the cross flow pump and the Nero 5, and I have a Nero 3 as well.
Let's see.
And you use that for
I've used them in fresh and salt.
just to
I'll,
make the water ripple so you can in salt water. Is that why it makes look so pretty when they're using those?
Mhm. And it's
I
very,
use them in fresh, but
power heads are important to give oxygenation in tanks, especially in like cichlid and catfish tanks. They need that oxygenation, but also in saltwater, the corals. That's the only way they breathe is through the water flow.
Yeah. Mm. Daniel
that's
said
nice
that
looking
the
too.
2 tanks he ordered from Waterbox came in 100 pieces. Hopefully they reshipped that. Fuzzy KR says on the freshwater side they have hardscape.
They do.
If we looked at that, they have a whole freshwater section. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap on things. Because like the pumps we were just looking at, you can use those on freshwater as well. But at aquascaping, did you say you got substrate before?
Yeah, so
from
when
them?
they started out the substrate or the freshwater, I got the Carib Sea Supernaturals sand, and it's just really good. I think I got the Sunset Gold, and you get the big bag for $20. $20.
Yeah, 20 pounds.
Yeah, 20 pounds for $20.
Yeah, 40 pounds for 35. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Rachel asked if they have a physical store.
No, they don't. They just have the online store.
But their shipping is really fast.
It is really fast.
Yeah.
They also sell live fish and macroalgae and inverts in saltwater. And they also do sell live plants.
Well, let's see. Do they have live goods here? So
And Bulk Reef Supply also has a really good YouTube channel that they've been doing for well over a decade with a lot of good knowledge in those videos, and that's how I got most of my knowledge, is from watching their videos.
I've referenced them several times when I have issues with my RODI systems. You know, you have to change out membranes from time to time, and the little booklet, that's not enough for me. I have to watch them do it so I can do it along with them.
yeah.
Their RODI videos are some of the best I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Didi was saying that she might want more macroalgae, and it looks like you could get some from here.
Yes. I think I went on there and looked. I think I had the dragon's breath before. I think that was the red one that was in the tank when I won the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at doing that. Was so pretty in the water. It really was.
I have a type of dragon's breath. I forget what it's called, but it has like orange sparkles in it.
There is one little teeny tiny piece still in there. And I've had this tank. I got it at the Clash last year. So there's still a piece of life in there on that plant.
Laura says she has some dark red stuff. I wonder, is this pom-pom a macroalgae?
Yeah. It's
So
a type of
that's
macroalgae. It's just a different species.
And I see they also have copepods and phytoplankton. I know Scotty was a while back looking for copepods and he couldn't find them anywhere. It looks like they have copepods, phytoplankton here.
Yep.
And tiger pods. I think Zen was talking about that in a stream today.
Yep. And I have bought pods from them, and I have bought inverts from them.
And I see Anthony wants to do a macroalgae tank with pseudomogills. I'm guessing the cyanodorsalis.
Yeah. Those would do
Those inverts. What type of inverts did you get?
I think I got peppermint shrimp, hermit crabs, snails. Yeah.
Now these peppermint shrimp, one of mine looks like it has eggs all under it. Will they hatch and grow in that water, or do you have to do something?
You have to separate the buried female and have her in a tank with just a sponge filter because they're just gonna get eaten by the other fish. And the
Okay.
mountain, they kind of, I don't know a whole lot, but they are possible to breed. They just need um, like a safe tank that they can do that in. How do they know they're pepper?
Because they eat them, Geek Boy. Just ask Coro. He's probably tasted them too.
And the sexy shrimp, those you can also breed. Seeing videos of that. Those are really cool. When they're happy and in their tank, they look really good.
Oh, this is how we know Coro tasted them. He is our taste tester for everything.
He ain't skirt.
So, I am going to go ahead and share this tab instead because Bulk Reef Supply actually already sent something to us. And it is this 4-stage RODI unit,
Dang.
75 GPT. I physically have it here for me to ship out. So, the 17-pound box that was shipped that I will send out to our winner. This will be US only.
Yeah.
But go ahead and enter hashtag RODI if you are interested. And while we are gathering names, if anyone has any questions for Ian, I will stop sharing for a second so we can see Ian and we can get that. But we actually have a knowledgeable salty person, and we don't get a lot of salty streams in Fish Fam. How did I pry it out of Steven's hands? Well, we already have an RO unit here, and the box was not opened until just right before this stream. Eric has a question for you.
I'm guessing it's genetic.
So there you go, Eric.
I will say though that RODI unit is one of their top ones. Like that one's got the pressure regulator and the inline TDS meter. So that will be like a way step up from just their base one, and it'll help you learn when to change your filters because once you know the TDS is going up, then it's time to change your filters. And you can also watch the pressure, and once that starts to drop, your membrane's not going to be as effective. So that's also an indicator of when you need to change your filters.
And I do use mine because, you don't never know when it's going to based on how much water. And you think you've got plenty of time, and then all of a sudden, it's starting to creep up to like out. The TDS coming out is 4. It might be 7. So it's like, whoa, I should have been paying attention because it's right there. But now I check it every single time because it is so easy. You just push the button and turn it off or the in or the out. Yes, I have TDS meters too here, but that's just so easy.
Yeah, they are nice.
So, Cora wants to know if Kat has created her carnivorous plant bog yet.
Not the finished one yet. We're still rocking the temporary one, but they survived the winter, our very very short winter that we had here. It was like 4 days of cold with snow.
Jenna, could you
And
pull that exact unit up? Some of them are wanting to see it.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. You're
So
already
this
doing it.
is the 4-stage. Let me see if it's this one, if it says plus or not. Yes, 4-stage value plus. Is that what?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it is this one. It's worth $250, and it says perfect for reefers, but it also can be perfect if you are a freshwater keeper as well. We use one. Dee, you also use one for
Mm-hmm.
freshwater.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it has, like Ian said, the dual TDS meter, glycerin filled pressure gauge, pre installed automatic shutoff valve, pre installed flush kit, multiple source water connections, drain wastewater connections, Murloc push connect dual EPDM O ring fittings, 10-foot each of quarter-inch blue, red, and black tubing, and pre installed NSF certified filters. And it has a limited lifetime warranty.
Yep. That's the best part about them, the lifetime warranty. And it's nice. The flush kit, that's going to be a membrane saver. So every
Mm-hmm.
time you go to use the RO, you just hit that flush and it cleans the membrane before you use it, and turn it back off after about 30 seconds to a minute, and it really extends the life of the membrane,
And
especially
mm-hmm.
if you have like very hard water.
I did that. I learned that the hard way. I didn't do it. I kept saying I'm going to. I'm going to. I used to have mine hanging outside, and I would catch my water and run the caught water on the inside because I didn't have room in the house to hang it. Because I have
Hmm.
to use a water hose on mine because I don't have a line to hook it to. But now I've moved all of it in there, so it's just so easy to turn that little knob, and run off that water at the end. So much easier, and it does save your membrane.
Hmm. And you can also, they're modifiable. So even though it starts out with a 75, once you've
Mm-hmm.
used up that 75, you can upgrade it to a 100, a 150, or the 200, and it'll slot in the same um, body. And you can also very easily add on a second membrane or a second carbon filter or DI stage. They're very modifiable to what your water needs.
And so when you get this RODI unit, what are additional things that you would need to purchase to get it up and running? Do you just need a water collection unit like a trash can or barrel
Mhm.
and nothing else?
It should have everything that you need. All the tubing
Yeah,
uh,
it
has
came
the
with some
automatic
tubing.
shut off kit, and that's nice. The kit comes
Mm-hmm.
with the float valve, and the float valve is very important. Don't skimp on the float valve because without that, the water will just keep going. Because that auto shut off switch works on back pressure of the float valve. Once that float valve is up, it kicks on something inside the switch, and the water just goes straight out your wastewater, which kind of sucks. There is a lot of wastewater with these, which is kind of the con. But some people do use the wastewater for other things like their garden and
Yeah.
yeah. So they're not completely wasteful, but that is something you gotta keep.
And you don't necessarily have to make 75 gallons every single day. I think Steven fills up our 40 or 50 gallon trash can with RO water once a week to do water changes on those tanks. And it's enough for all of those water changes. And then he only has to like drain the wastewater out into the yard for the yard to water it once a week.
Yeah.
So I also see that, and let me see if the picture the type of RO unit is printed on the unit. You can see it and you could look it up, and it came with an instruction manual, but it looks like you can also, if you have any questions, you
You
can
can.
download one right
Mhm.
there.
And like we were saying earlier, they have a very good playlist just on RODI stuff on their YouTube channel that explains almost anything you want to learn more in depth about your RODI filter. And they are fascinating to learn about. I had a lot of fun learning about them and knowing what I can do with them. Even though my water is relatively clean, it was fun to learn about them.
Now, the units that I got actually had an adapter so you can hook it straight up to a water hose if you have to do it like I do.
Yeah, mine's hooked up straight to the end of the sink. So it's not, because I'm renting, I'm not going to permanently attach something to my water pipes here. So I just have an adapter that goes off to the end of the sink and it feeds into the RODI unit and it drains back into the drain for the waste. And yeah.
It
I
looks
drain my
like
wastewater out the window, and because I have to pull in from the out the window throughout the window too. So I water my tree line in the summertime, the grass in the backyard. Sometimes I pot it up and put it in a rain barrel, and then I use it for gardening, flower beds. It doesn't go to waste.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, but I don't have any windows in my basement. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really hard to have a clean way of winding water hose through the house to get it out the window.
Gotcha.
so. Yeah, it looks like they have a lot of videos. They have things about products, but also care guides.
Yeah, lately they're doing a lot of more product stuff, but they've done thousands of videos, so they do have a good way of sorting on their playlists if you want to learn about a certain subject. I started out with the 52 weeks of reefing, and I've just kind of branched off from there. They're old school 52 weeks of reefing. I know they came out with a new one, but for me, the old one is just simple, easy to get into.
And in this business, you never stop learning. So
Mhm.
Okay, we have about 10 minutes left in the stream. So I'm going to share this tab instead. We're going to give people just 2 more minutes to enter hashtag RODI if you're interested in winning this 4-stage 75 gallon per day RODI unit from Bulk Reef Supply. If anyone has any other questions for Ian while we're waiting on those 2 minutes, also, I saw Laura had said she has a small one. She'll give the small one away to get a big one like this. This is just for anyone who is in the United States, 18 or older, that we can ship this to you if you win. So there is no condition. You don't have to give away or not have an RO unit. It would be nice if you won it, if you kept it and you didn't like resell it or anything like that, because there are people who want it. So please only enter if you actually will use it. I
Yeah,
think that's fair. Question for Ian: how did you get interested in saltwater?
I have always been interested in saltwater from the very beginning. but I always thought it was more difficult and not accessible, but I did a lot of research and I got to work in a saltwater freshwater store, and I just fell in love with the colors of saltwater and the challenge of it as well.
Do you think that it is any more difficult to keep saltwater than it is to keep freshwater?
Depends on how far you want to go with saltwater. Like you can keep it really simple and easy to maintain and not stress about, you know, water parameters. Water parameters are important to keep stable for more complicated corals. And the more complicated you make your system, more things can fail. So it is, in a way, more complicated, but freshwater has a similar way of getting too complicated as well. So it's kind of as, as hard as you want to make it. Like I've had my 10-gallon with an HOB and a cheap Amazon light running for over 4 years with simple corals and inverts.
Shirley asks, it's an RODI unit, right? Yes, it is an RODI unit. We don't have to use it for saltwater. No, you can use it for freshwater, for
You,
whatever you need. You said that she had eggs that would do better in RO water. Um, I believe that we've also had some success hatching some Cory eggs in RO water and then transitioning them back to tank water.
you can also use it for drinking water. Just have a T and a valve before it goes into the membrane, but after the carbon block. And that's perfectly good filtered drinking water. And I know people that do that. Like Channel Melev's Reef, he does that. Because he has really hard water where he's from, and a lot of times it's not that safe to drink. So he just branches off from his carbon block to his refrigerator and gets clean drinking water that way. So even if you're not doing salt water and you're not doing super complicated freshwater stuff, you will have a very nice water purifier for your house that will make drinking water better, because everyone needs to drink more water.
So I have a question pulled up for Eric, but I typed stop in chat, and we're going to go ahead and spin. And then while we're making sure that our winner is here, you can answer this question. So I'm going to refresh one more time. We have 56 entries, and
Good luck. Eric's so excited.
Daniel Velez, I see that you are here, but I need you to acknowledge that you have won and that you won it. I see I put the spinner after the RO unit. Congratulations, Daniel. And while we are waiting, Ian, what would be a good setup for a beginner in salt? They say in fresh, they say go bigger. Is it the same in salt? Okay, congratulations, Daniel. I am going to record winner and close.
Yeah, I mean, going bigger is always better, but also learning on a smaller tank is fun because it is a challenge, but it also is not that much out of pocket. And I know with the way the economy is here right now, um, starting out with a smaller tank will still be a lot of fun, and it'll let you know if you want to pursue a larger tank in the long run, because saltwater tanks are a little bit different than freshwater. Like, I know a lot of people keep freshwater tanks for a long time, but these saltwater tanks can last a very long, long time. Like, there are people from the 90s running the same coral that they were growing back then in the same tank,
Wow.
and they're pretty much their family, even though it's just like a rock that glows under blue lights.
Yeah.
uh, Coral are
Is,
really cool, and you can keep them happy for a very long time.
Well, pet
is
rocks have been around a long,
yeah.
long time since I was a teenager.
Hmm.
Is there like a minimum size tank that you would say for a beginner? Like, would do you think that like a 5 gallon saltwater tank would be too difficult for a beginner, or do you think is
Maybe I would say a 10 gallon. Just start out with a basic Aquarium or Magitarium and tank. Get an HOB. Start out with the easy corals, easy fish, clownfish. Even though they're basic, you'll have them for a long time. Clownfish will live up to like 2 decades easily in a tank. They're kept right.
are clownfish mean? I feel like I've heard that.
They are mean. They are a little bit mean, but they're funny because of how small they are and how mean they are. But in a small tank, you're really just going to have the one fish. But when you graduate to like a bigger tank, say a 4 foot or 40 breeder, 75, they'll be fine with other fish. But trying to mix a bunch of fish in like a 20 gallon or 29 gets a little dicey.
Would you
Now,
keep Yeah, I was gonna say, would you keep a seahorse in a 10-gallon tank? 10-gallon saltwater tank?
No, not unless it's like a breeding tank. But seahorses, they want more space, and I think they want to be in groups as well. But I don't know seahorses that much, so I could be wrong. Just to clarify, but I would do seahorses in like a 40 breeder, and a 40 breeder would probably be the best ideal setup for a beginner. You have plenty of room, space, but it's also going to be more expense. You need twice as much sand and lighting and all that. And yeah, LJ says even the shrimp are big. Yeah, I've got a shrimp that's like this big. It's the cleaner shrimp. They're cool. The shrimp
The
are really cool.
the shrimp that we eat, they're salty shrimp, right? Most of
Mhm.
them.
so
Yep.
they're going first if we get down, get stuck at home, can't get to the grocery store. Now, my shrimp are bigger than myself in Molly. That was converted to saltwater, so they're pretty good size.
Yep.
What do you have the sailfin, molly, and you have peppermint shrimp?
Yes.
And do you have anything else in your salt tank? Any other
Uh,
fish?
there's a well, I picked up a wrasse the other day, and I do have some hermit crabs, and that's it. And
Nice.
bristleworms. So I hope
Nice.
I got them all out, but I probably didn't. But the wrasse, I've got a 10 gallon. I was told I'd probably, if it outgrow it, probably be less than a year. So, there's. I was just sitting here looking. Well, I've got a 20 long right here. I got a 22 I made over there. It's like, well, I may pop up if I get attached to this fish and don't want to give him up.
What kind of wrasse is it?
I don't know. They
Oh.
just said it was a wrasse. So,
Oh.
but he's not nowhere near as big as myself and Molly right now.
Well, there are a lot of different wrasses that can stay from like this big, or like this big, or like this big.
Well, the fish store lady said it would get too big for the tank, probably in less than a year.
Oh.
What color is your wrasse?
Yeah, what
It
color is it?
it has some blue and some orange. A pretty little fish.
Is it a
Uh,
check? Did they call it a checkerboard?
she did not. She
Okay.
just it just had wrasse on the tank. But the self-in Molly would not have been a choice for me if I'd have started, but it came with the setup. So I'll keep it. But he looks cooler in the tank to me because he looks like a saltwater fish.
Yeah. The wrasses are one of my favorites. I had a possum wrasse. I lost a bunch of fish, but I had the wrasse, the blenny. I lost the mandarin, uh, but I still have an angelfish, a pygmy angel, the royal grama, a clownfish, and a tamini tang.
Okay, LJ says there's some crabs that eat bristleworms.
Yeah, the arrow crab. Those guys are,
Arrow, bow and arrow.
yeah, arrow crabs. They get kind of big though.
Yeah, that's probably too big for my tank.
So Rachel had a question. Clownfish are fine solo. I don't think I've ever seen one in a tank alone.
They are fine solo, but they're best in a pair, and they're relatively easy to pair up. Because
Yeah,
when they're born, they're all born males,
Mhm.
and then the most dominant one will become female.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the whole like dark premise of Finding Nemo about why he's so determined to find his son.
Yep.
I just won't comment on that one. It can go political. I mean, it's just a joke.
Well, we are at the end of our time. First of all, thank you, Ian, for coming up here and shopping with us. Thank you, Dee Dee, for being my co-host. Thank you, Annette and Zen, for helping with moderating and dropping links and stuff. Thank you, Bulk Reef Supply, for donating. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Congratulations again, Daniel. Did anyone else have any final words before we close it out?
But just go and support these people that sponsor these giveaways. They make it possible for this to happen.
Yeah, go ahead and support Bulk Reef Supply. Check out their YouTube channel. Don't check out my channel because I haven't posted, but I'll post soon.
And don't be a stranger, Ian. You used to be everywhere.
I know. I've just been really busy, working a lot, and yeah, working.
A young man that can answer a lot of questions for sure.
I try.
Well, I remember when I was first getting back into this, you were in all the live streams and lots of time on the camera, and you've taught a lot of people some stuff.
Yeah, it was nice when I got asked to do this. I was like, yeah, I can't say no.
Good.
Be less busy. We need you.
I'll come back. I've been enjoying kind of not filming the tanks and enjoying them myself, but I feel like it's time to come back to the stream soon.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me up, guys.
Thank you. We'll see everyone later. Have a great day.